Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to this new chapter. And in this chapter, we're going to focus on a list of topics. The first topic that we're going to focus on is the basic fundamental block of any programming language, and also this will be the basic fundamental block for C programming, and this is known as the variables. Then again, we are going to focus on, or we are going to extend the concept of format specifier. We're going to look into how we can use variables in the printf function. Also, we are going to look at how these variables work inside our computer system. We are also going to add to this list the arithmetic operators which are used for any basic calculations. So that's a long list, but it will be fun. So let's get started. So in the previous chapters, we have created this file called printname.c, and in this file, we actually created a simple program. So this wasn't very attractive, and we also looked at how to set up our code blocks. This is the software or the IDE that I'm using in here, and this is for free. This is an open source software. You can get it on the net. So I'm not going to waste my time showing you again how to download and install all this. And I've also created this file called variables2.c, and I'm going to start writing my program on this file. So before I get going, let me first actually introduce you to this new topic called variables. Now, variables are like storage spaces. In the ancient times, people or civilizations used to have central granaries. So you might not have heard about these granaries, but granaries were used to store food or crops or grains, so that people could actually extract them when there is a drought, when there is a crop failure, when there is a famine. So it wouldn't actually affect the people in the civilization. So the granaries acted or functioned as the storage spaces for food. In this time also, or in this modern time, in the time that we are living now, we also have something called cold storage systems. Now, these cold storage systems are essentially the same thing. They are also granaries, but in this storage spaces, we can even store meat products. We can store milk. We can also store, tons and tons of grains, crops, so that we don't have to, suffer when there's a famine or any natural disaster, and our people can get along pretty well without even worrying about food shortages. So inside our computers, we also have storage spaces. So the programs that we actually use in our everyday life, in our everyday working, those programs are designed to access two different memories inside our computer. But we are not going to focus on both of these memories. We are going to focus on what is known as the random access memory, a variable inside a program that we are going to create. Inside this simple program, the variable will actually access the random access memory, or which is in short known as the RAM. Now, a variable is essentially a storage space. It's also like those granaries or those cold storage systems, but inside this variable, or inside this storage spaces in our computer system, we're not going to store any food, obviously, but we're going to store numbers. We're going to store our calculated values. We are even going to store characters like A, B, C, D, even characters like dollar symbol or hashtag. Hashtag has another name which is known as the pound symbol. Then we can also store, the at the rate symbol, which is used when you write your email address, like something like at the rate gmail.com, then at the rate yahoomail.com, or something like that. So all of those separate alphabets, all of those are actually independent characters, and they're represented as integers. They're represented as whole numbers inside our computer's memory, which is the RAM. So what's the I'm not going to go deep into the ROM and the RAM, but let me give you a simple explanation of their differences. So the RAM is like, whenever you are running a program, the RAM will be accessed during the lifetime of that program, and after that the program will actually terminate, uh, or actually release the memory that it was using in the RAM. So it's a temporary memory. But the ROM, or the hard disk that we have, is the permanent memory. So it's just like our brain. We have a short-term memory and we also have a long-term memory. Our long-term memory remembers our names. It also remembers like our birthdays. It also remembers our parents' name. It also remembers our if you're living in the same house for the past 10 years or the 20 years, it remembers that house's address. So those are things, or those are data that's that are stored inside the long-term part of your brain. But something like, if you want to if you go to a bank, then again you you want to withdraw some cash, and then you write a check and you give it to the counter or the cashier who's sitting in front of you. You write a check, and then the check will actually have an amount of money that you want to withdraw. So that amount that you wrote down on that check will actually, it won't last very long inside your memory. Like, you might actually forget uh, what food you ate yesterday, or what food you ate 1 month ago, uh, when on one Friday. So those are actually short-term memory. Just like that, computers also have two distinct type of memories. One is known as the RAM, and the other one is known as the ROM. So we are not going to discuss or extend on the subject of ROM, or the permanent memory that's accessed from the hard disk or from your hard disk, but we are going to focus on what's inside the RAM and how we can manipulate the memory, or how we can store our data or calculated data or results inside the RAM for our program's lifetime. So when our program executes, it's going to use that RAM. Then again, when our program finishes all the execution process, it's going to end. It's going to release that memory, or it's going to forget what it has done, uh, and it's going to make that RAM available for other programs. So when one program is running, like, you have a RAM that might be 4 gigabytes or 4 GB, or maybe it might be 8 GB, or like you can go up to 16 GB. So if you're running a program that requires, like Chrome requires 1 gigabyte of your RAM's space.